It's simple, really. Great stories with a good cup of tea. It's the Tea with Mike show. All right, guys, welcome to another Tea with Mike. Joining me for this particular story is Eric. How's it going today, Eric?
Going good, man. Going good. I'm excited.
Excellent. And so today's tea fact is there are more than 3,000 varieties of tea in the world. And that comes from, let's see if I can read my notes. Simplemost.com. Simplemost.com. So that is
3,000. I mean, that's
3,000.
wild, man. 3,000.
And there could very well be more, right? Because like a lot of things, there's always new things in development, and even if you change something by one tiny ingredient or percentage, it's still technically another variety.
That's wild. What kind of tea you got in front of you, my man?
Yorkshire tea, so it's like a pretty strong black tea, and with a tiny bit of milk in, because you need to drink milk. Yeah, and I drink a lot of it, so you should probably know. So why don't we start by you telling everybody a little bit about you?
Sure. So I'm Eric Chow. I'm 18 years old, born and raised, and still in California in the United States. I do a lot, man. I'm a fellow podcaster. I currently attend community college. I'm pursuing 4 associate's degrees, which actually this is kind of weird, man, because okay, so business and computer science are like completely on purpose. I wanted to get these, but some of these degrees I'm literally getting because I've taken classes and then I've realized I'm like 2 classes away from getting a degree. So I'm just like, hey, why not? I'm gonna just get it because I'm like 2 classes away. I have time. I might as well just get the degree. And then I'm also getting a humanities degree, and that was weird because like I already have it, but I didn't try to get it. Like I just ended up taking a crap ton of classes, and then my counselor was like, hey, I think you meet the qualifications or the requirements for a humanities degree. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll take it. But yeah, that's like a random fun fact about me.
So nice. So you kind of explained so 2 of them were intentional. One of them was kind of accidental because you just happened
actually
to
now that I think about it, 2 of them are kind of accidental.
So half of them were accidental.
Yeah. That's correct.
So how many years is all this going to take to finish?
So the associate's degrees are only going to take me 2 years, and then I'm going to transfer and get a bachelor's in something.
Ooh, which one?
I'm not sure.
Nice.
So far winging it has somehow done me a pretty good job, so I think I might have to stick with that.
Awesome, dudes. So what is it that you enjoy most about studying and education, and how do you think it's going to help you overall, even though you may not necessarily know exactly where you want to go?
You know, I think with my degrees in particular, it shows how broad I can be, like computer science, and I have a natural sciences with a math and tech emphasis,
which I think is going to be very important in the future world that we live in. So that's pretty smart strategy.
And I happen to be pretty good at it too, so that's lucky for me. And then good. Business and humanities, so it's like a very broad sort of field, which I like. And that's something I love learning, honestly. Like plain and simple, I love learning. Obviously, you know, there are always things that make learning annoying, or you know, crappy professor, or crappy class, or whatever it is. Those can always
the coronavirus. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not mad about like doing all classes online, bro. My bed is right here. You can see it. It's like I literally wake up from here and then I move here and then I'm good. I'm ready for class. I don't have to go anywhere. It's kind of nice.
Now, you see, for me personally, I find it challenging working in the same like workspace as my bed for obvious like reasons. So for me, I work best when they're in completely separate locations and I gotta physically move, but
I would prefer it to be honest. I would prefer it, but unfortunately for now, my office space is in the same room as my bed, which,
yes, likewise.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
that's pretty much my community college too.
Nice. Do you kind of have like a favorite area or a dream job or a dream company you'd like to work for?
Not really. Not really, I don't.
You're just gonna see what happens.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a take it as I get it kind of guy. Like something happens and I'm like, hey, this is dope. I'll take it. That's just the kind of person I am in a lot of ways, I think.
Awesome. And then you quite a fast learner. Do you pick up the stuff you're learning pretty easy?
I feel like I do. I wouldn't say I'm like the fastest or like there are definitely a lot of people who might pick things up faster than me. I think my strength is more in I think I know how to understand things. I know how to figure things out, and I know when I have a pretty good understanding, and I also know what I don't know. I think that's kind of my strength.
And so nice, and because you're taking sort of by accident and kind of on purpose, which is might be a great name to call this later.
Yes.
Does that give you? Do you get a lot of work to do from all of those associate degrees?
I have a decent amount of work, that's for sure. And then on top of that, I always like doing my own thing. My podcast and I have an internship and all sorts of things that I'm involved with. I have a decent amount of work, but I always try to make time for myself at the same time. Just time to relax and maybe grab a book and read or something like that.
How structured are you in your like daily activities if you're trying to fit in all this work, and then you just said you like to self-care, which is important, and then the podcast and then editing and then this and that? How do you fit it all in?
That's a good question.
Learning strategies that you use?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I wish I had a process to like explain to you, but I really don't. It's what I will say is a lot of everything that I do, fortunately, comes on a week by week basis. Okay. Meaning nothing's ever like, hey, you have 3 days to do this. Everything I usually know is I have to do it within a week. And so that kind of helps me because that means I can say, hey, like I have this long list of things and I have this week to do it. So, if I wake up one day and I'm like, hey, I'm feeling the podcast today, I'll edit the podcast, if I'm feeling my calculus homework, I'll be doing my calculus homework. You know what I mean? So I get to pick and choose. And I think that's like an entrepreneurial kind of lifestyle, even though not everything I do is
very educational setting right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like you just get to kind of pick and choose and obviously there are a lot of things that are scheduled, like, hey, I have to be in class or I have to record a podcast at this time or, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But everything else I'm gonna choose, hey, I'm gonna just work on this or work on that or work on this.
Gotcha.
It's a flexible lifestyle, which also does result in procrastination from time to time.
Cool, nice. So, and you've already kind of mentioned it like a couple of times. Do you want to tell people a little bit about your podcast and why you set it up and what's the purpose of it and where you maybe want it to go in the future and some cool guests you've had on, etc., etc.?
Sure. So I started the podcast in August of 2019. I think, with your podcast, it's, sitting down and having a nice conversation over a cup of tea. And I kind of like that peacefulness of it. And I think mine is kind of similar. Although I think the one main difference is my focus is always on empowerment. I don't know if you have like a word that you would describe yours as, like to describe what you do. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
It's good, but it covers a lot of things for sure.
Right. Yeah. And mine, I would say
stories are the same.
I love it. Yeah. That's a really good one. Mine is empowerment, and that's sort of the word I use to describe it. It's for me, it was like empowering myself to share anything that I want to share without fear of anything. Like I just want to share something. I want to share it. It's hopefully for the guests who come on, they feel empowered to share their own voice and their own experiences with me. That's kind of the goal for them. And then for anyone who listens, the audience, it's can they get something from each episode that brings them value or maybe inspires them, or maybe they can apply in a practical sense and empower them that way. So that's kind of the big thing.
Cool, dude. So stop for 1 second. Well, tell everyone what's the name of your podcast. You started talking about it.
You're right. I don't think I have. I don't. You're right. That's a good call. It's the the-eric-chow-empowers-podcast. Yeah.
No, carry on. Sorry.
Okay. No, I was just gonna say the other question. What you asked was some guests that I've had on, and I think this is a good time to shout out Isaac Mashman, which, in a sense, us together because of the group that we are, some groups that we're a part of now, and
Indeed.
So that's kind of how we found out about each other. So shout out to him. He was on episode 5, and then I also had 2 other members of that sort of. Well, it was Team Legacy. Now it's Link and Grow. It's a group that I
think is better.
I agree. I think I like it. And I had 2 members of that group on. DeAndre Wilson, episode, I want to say 11 or 12, and then Promise
Still working
Rose,
on getting him on my show, too.
Which one?
DeAndre.
DeAndre? Okay,
yeah,
nice.
We've said it. We tried to do it originally, and then we had some technical issues, and then it's just been trying to like fit it around both people's schedules. So one day, for sure.
One day, yeah, that'll be good. Yeah,
and sorry,
so those are some.
And then who's the other person?
Promise Rhodes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she was on episode 10. I want to say no, 9, whatever. I frankly don't remember.
So how many episodes have you done?
Today I uploaded episode 29.
Nice. So do you do it when you feel the moment's right, or do you have a regular schedule, kind of like me?
Yeah, so in the beginning, for the first several months, it was very random. Like, it was literally when I felt like it. But for 2020, it's been every Wednesday. I've skipped 2 Wednesdays or 1 Wednesday or something like that, just to take a personal break.
Oh, for sure, that's
for the
good
most
too.
part, it's every Wednesday.
And then I'm obviously going to go listen after this, but how long typically is each episode?
I would say they've varied, but like the longest one is like hour 50.
Was that Isaac?
55. That was no Isaac.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember. I think that, bro, it might have been a solo episode. It was whack. But yeah, that's probably longest. These days it's been about an hour. The last couple episodes, I want to say, have been about an hour, maybe a little under an hour, something like that.
So what's your viewership like? Like, where do people tune in from?
A lot on Spotify, sometimes on Apple Podcasts. I think mostly Spotify. That's probably the majority.
Interesting. You on Anchor?
Yeah.
Very nice. Do you have any goals with the podcast for over the next kind of year or 2 years, or just go with the flow like you described earlier in the show?
I have a few goals. I think for my long term, I'm okay with if I at some point if I feel like I want to stop, then so be it. I'll stop. 2 goals I have, or 3 goals I guess I'll mention right now. 1, I'm trying to reach 1,000 total listens. And I'm very close. In fact, I expect to get very, very soon 1,000 total listens over
that's
everything.
Impressive.
I'm really close. I'm not quite there, but I'm really close.
You have to give me some tips, because I'm struggling on my podcast. I just have just over 300 plays, so I'm not quite sure what I'm not doing.
How
I need
many
to get it on
episodes have you done?
like 40 plus.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't know if it's because people don't know it's there, or because they can see or watch it on a whole bunch of other places because of how I like set it up, and it originated from a
That's true.
Facebook group,
That's
and then
true.
the website only came at the beginning of this year. So I'm trying to move people from Facebook to other areas, which is challenging, right?
Yeah, I feel like since you're distributing it so more than I am, it makes it a little harder to count up all the views too, especially because like
Yeah,
for me, everything totals automatically in Anchor because I don't distribute it anywhere else. I'm done right there. But you do a little bit more than I do, so.
Well, not specifically on the podcast. Mine's in Anchor, and then it distributes it. So, but I just
but then you also have video form,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
right.
YouTube,
So I don't do that. That's better though. I think that's better. I want to do that. That's actually I'm gonna add that. That's gonna be another goal for me. To get video form. At some point, and then the other goal is I want to reach 1 year, which will be in August.
Awesome.
Getting close, and then the last goal, if I make it, I mean I don't know. This is my long-term goal. I think like I want to do like a 7-year or 8-year or something anniversary. And like on that day, I want to have like 3 or 4 of my OG like guests, like some of my OGs, and I think that'll be really cool. Like 7-8 years from now.
When you say OG, what do you mean?
Like some of my first guests from like episodes like 1 through 20 or something.
Oh, okay. That's
like I'm gonna be at like episode like 300, 400 something, and I want to have like guests from like 1 through 20. I just feel like that'll be a cool moment.
It's kind of crazy, isn't it? If you think about like when you like however long when you go back and it didn't exist, and then you move forward a year. I just hit a year. You're pretty close to hitting a year. And then what my 2 years look like, what my 4 years look like. And then you just keep doubling the amount, and then you're like,
That's crazy.
Nobody knows. It may have been wiped out because of some apparent reason, or it may be thriving. Nobody knows. Only time will tell.
Yeah, 100%. I kind of like it. It's a fun little thing to think about. Congratulations, by the way, on hitting a year. That's awesome.
Yeah, it came fast, and then obviously now it's like at the beginning I was just doing it casually, but now it's kind of a little bit like more serious, and so I'm trying to up the quality ante on like from recording, which is a challenge on a $0 budget right now, but and then to the website, and then the change of logo, and then change of theme song because it was really cheesy at the beginning. Yeah, so just trying to move things from a hobby to like more professional, and people don't realize how time consuming it is.
I agree. I feel like it was always funny for me when people ask me like, "Man, you must do so much." Except when I would ask them, "What do you think I do?" Because I love asking this question. You should start doing this. Like whenever people say like, "Bro, you must do so much" or whatever, you probably don't do a lot. I always love asking like, "What do you think I do?" And here's what I found. Everyone gets it complete. The things they think I do a lot of work on, I do not. I do so little. And the things that they think are super easy, I spend so much time on. I found that it's always switched. It's so weird. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
You're right though. It takes quite a bit.
I don't know about you, but I've definitely invested over over I don't know, $300 to $500 maybe.
How long do you think you take on a average episode? Like to do everything you need to do for one episode, how many hours?
Oh, from start to finish, from recording to...
Yeah, everything. Recording, editing, uploading, sharing.
Probably at least 5 because of the amount of time it physically takes to upload to all the different places. Okay, there you go. 5 times 40 is 200 plus promotion. Yeah, there you go. Plus so yeah, 400, 500.
Yeah. So I would say you're probably about the same as me then. Yeah, it sounds like we take about the same amount of time.
And I do care, but like I don't. I do very little editing because it's time consuming.
Yeah, it is.
And
Yeah, it
people
is.
don't really appreciate these days like quality editing as long as they can hear in the pictures like average and minimum. Then it's a waste of time putting in 30 hours trying to edit one video, because of people's attention.
So true. Yeah, so true. So true. It's weird, bad. It's weird.
Also,
but it's fun though.
For sure. That's the main reason why I do it right now is for fun. And in times when we're stuck at home, it still gives me like lots to do, which is a good thing.
For sure.
There's a lot of people, obviously, there's lots of cons to being stuck at home for income, etc. But it's a great time to be like getting more content out because people have more time.
I agree, man. I agree. They have more time to listen to it and watch it.
Yeah. So since the start of the coronavirus, I think I've been growing like I think it's like 2 to 4% each week on like Facebook. Like organically too, right? So it could be higher if I was investing like money, which I'm not for the most part right now.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and then engagement. So like organically, it's like 2.5K to 3K for the week.
Wow. Awesome.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because lots of people want to counter to what they're reading. Obviously, you need to listen to the facts from the government and the medical professionals and take it seriously. But a good percentage of it is rubbish news that isn't accurate, and it's a waste of time, isn't it? So you're competing against all that. I think the social media channels should be promoting like good stuff, so I should be higher in the algorithms.
There we go. Yes, preach, bro. It's so annoying. The negativity is just so loud. It sucks.
Cool. Let's switch it up. So how did you get to doing the internship in Ireland? And if you can say who it's for and what's it about, and what you hope to gain from it.
Yeah, so the internship is a startup out of Ireland. I got it because of a buddy of mine. I've known the guy. I joke that I've known the guy like since birth, dude. Because like my memory doesn't go back far enough to a time when I didn't know this guy. That's how long I've known him.
Nice.
He's a year older than me, and he currently goes to UC San Diego, here in California. And he got the internship probably months probably before me, because the CEO of the startup had done some interviews in San Diego.
Oh wow! And they're traveling far to find people.
Yeah, well, I don't think she was there purely just to find people.
Oh, okay.
She was probably doing like a talk there or something like that. But whatever reason, she was there. Maybe, I don't really know. And he got it, and then he came back home over winter break, and he came over to my house, and we were just chatting and catching up and talking for a bit, and he told me about it, and he was like, hey, if you want to do it, I can reach out and put in a good word for you. I was like, I mean, tell me about what they do. And I was interested, and so I ended up doing a call with the CEO here on Skype, actually. And then it's been a good number of weeks. I've lost count how many weeks it's been, but it's been a good number of weeks, and I've been enjoying it. The startup is called Active Peers at Beck Search. They do focus on peer learning. So, in school, there's a lot of group work, there's a lot of collaboration and all of that. But it's usually not very structured. It's very like, work on this together,
Yeah.
And or when you go into a business setting, it's not really there. I mean, you might work in a team depending on what kind of project you're doing, but other than that, there isn't the use of group and peer learning, especially in a structured setting. And so that's what they focus on. And they're the ones who establish the structure. They're the ones, they actually have an algorithm that they have, and a bunch of different activities and whatnot. So that's what they focus on. And yeah.
Cool.
And actually, the episode that I uploaded today is with the CEO.
That's awesome. Good networking and good content creation and good educational pull at the same time.
It's a win for me.
That's a win-win.
Exactly.
So how long do you think you're going to be doing that, or are you just going with the flow?
Going with the flow. I don't expect to stop anytime soon, though.
Very nice. And then, what are some of your motivational things and values that you hold close to you? Because I noticed you put it in your bio, which a lot of people don't.
Yes.
Why are those things important to you?
I like that you. It's interesting because the reason I put it there. I think I'll share that first. In my bio, I shared to Mike some of my core beliefs and motivations, and the reason I put it is because I've realized that when people ask the question like, "Who are you?" right? You might say, "I'm a podcaster." I might say, "I'm a podcaster. I'm a student. I'm a math tutor." Actually, whatever. I might name some of the things I do, right? But what I've realized is that doesn't tell you a lot about the person. Like, it tells you what they do, but it doesn't tell you a lot about the person, and that's something I've realized. So I didn't really know how to how do I, like, if someone asks me, "Who are you?" and I start trying to tell them about who I actually am, I feel like that's just weird, right? Like, I'm not, "Oh yeah, I'm a dude who, I'm a really confident guy." Like, if I start introducing myself like that, it's weird, right? So I don't know. That's kind of one of the thought process behind why I decided to add that. So my motto in life, I think that's a good place to start. I'm stealing it from a guy named Brendan Burchard, but I do have my own sort of perspective on it. But the motto itself, I'm totally stealing, and it is 3 words. It is live, love, and matter. And the reason I believe in that is because I believe that we shouldn't just exist in life, because everyone's born, everyone exists, but there's a difference between actually existing and actually living it and experiencing it and enjoying it and growing from it and all of that. I think love is just because, instead of living out of fear, I think, with the COVID-19 thing, it's especially like,
more important than ever before.
Exactly. I don't want to live out of fear or scarcity. I want to live out of love and kindness and optimism and abundance. And then the last thing is matter, which is my belief that you shouldn't just live and do things for yourself. And it's important to do things for yourself and be selfish. I think that's a great human being thing to do, to be honest. But it's also about living to help others and do something for others. And I think that's my motto in life.
That's really cool, man. So it's really like kind of different perspective to put on things. I can't speak right now. Yeah, tongue's tied up. Yeah, but has anyone ever noticed it in a professional environment or in any sort of environment, that perspective that you have?
I think so. I don't really usually get to share it, like that specific perspective, unless someone specifically asks me or I really see an opportunity to bring it up like I do here. But I do think that's been something people have noticed about me. And I think just if they get to know me well enough, I think they get to see that.
Awesome, dude. And as the clock ticks to the end of the quarter, do you have any closing thoughts or a random question for me? Something you want to know? I'll be happy to answer.
Here's a good one. And I wish you good luck on this question, because if you don't have an answer prepared, it's kind of hard to come up with it. What is your motto in life, my friend?
What is my? That's a good question.
Do you have? If you don't have an answer, it's really hard to answer on the spot.
I guess since the creation of the Tea with, so I've always been. I'll put a little bit of context. I've always been, for the most part, an energetic but bubbly person that tries to be liked by everyone, and I try to get to know everyone, which has its pros and its cons, obviously, like everything in life. But and then so that's a bit about my personality in a nutshell. And then since I started the Tea with Mike show to draw attention to conversation and communication and human interaction in whatever form it takes on, which is even more obvious now of how vulnerable we are in the world with the COVID virus. So my motto, I guess, is, well, it's not really a motto, but thoughts that I try and live by it. It's always be positive, always be happy, and always try and reach out to others and lift other people's spirits.
100%. I love it. I think it's perfect.
Awesome, man.
I'm going to add another question then.
Yeah, go for it.
You said your motto of the podcast is storytelling. You want to talk about that a little bit? I love this.
Storytelling, sure.
Yeah.
So the reason why, I guess, one of the core reasons and how I promote it is it's a storytelling show. And the reason why it's that is because I think it's important to provide a kind of platform for other people to share their stories. I've always been big into the performing arts and theater, and that's what theater is. At the end of the day, it's telling stories through different characters and as yourself and sharing your experience, your lessons, your relationships, and all of that sort of thing with other people. So I just want this place to be almost like a digital version of going to the theater, almost, and just giving people the chance to tell their stories. Because I know I've learned lots of cool things that I never expected, even from some of the people I know in real life. So I guess that's kind of an answer.
I love it.
Yeah. It's hard when the roles flip and you're asked the questions. I get comfortable because it's just like flowing. I got a few notes and it's just like, for the most part, pretty like fluid. And it gets better as the episode story and the episode goes on, because you pick up on things like the chemistry, etc. So it's always interesting when the roles flip. Any other questions?
I've noticed that too. No other questions. That's all I got. But I've noticed that too. It's so weird.
Well, man, thanks so much for telling your story and for being on the Tea with Mike show.
My pleasure, man. Always super, super fun being on, man.
Awesome, man. We'll definitely keep talking and maybe call sometimes and keep building what we started here today.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, this was the Tea with Mike show. Teawithmike.com to watch this story, like every other story. And of course, I'll drop Eric's stuff in any further promotion that I do. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
It's the Tea with Mike show.